Alrighty, welcome back to more Polish action. This is on the Anatolia map, which is a cool map, and I joined this game. I didn't host either of the games that I'm showing you tonight. So here's my Polish army marching forward. This time I brought a little bit different types of troops. This is actually a late period battle, you'll notice, because I have rifles. I have 3 units of these riflemen. I have 1 unit of, let's see if I can find them right here, 1 unit of guard grenadiers. This is a unique Polish unit. These guys are pretty much like guards with grenades, so they are bad news indeed. Extremely good melee, very tough, good morale units. I have 3 units of line infantry, and that's them right there. So 3 units line, and then I have 1 unit of guards, and here's my guards. They don't look quite as fancy as some of the guards from the other factions, but still pretty cool. My cavalry is once again consisting of, well, I say once again, it has winged hussars again. This time I only have 2 units of winged hussars. I love these guys, and who doesn't? And then right now I have 2 units of light dragoons, which are hidden, thinking that I might spring a trap on my opponent. Bless you. That guy's got allergies, just like me. Okay, let's go over and check out my opponent's army. My opponent is playing as Prussia. He has 2 units of cuirassiers. This is going to be a key failing in his strategy, and I will explain that. He has extremely good infantry. Here on his right flank he has 2 units of these lifeguards, and these guys will kick your butt in and out of melee. They are incredibly good units, very expensive, very good. And the remaining 3 units that he has a line infantry and 2 superior line infantry. Now his regular line infantry is qualitatively superior to my Polish line infantry. Now, not my guards and my guard grenadiers, but qualitatively superior to my line infantry. And his superior line infantry is easily superior to my line infantry, much as the name suggests. My opponent also has a general's bodyguard. So I am actually going to begin fast forwarding and just let this play out for a little while. I'm not going to get to show you near all of this battle, as it's extremely long. It's probably like 30-minute long battle, maybe more. In any case, my opponent played it very intelligently for the most part. He did make some mistakes that I took advantage of, but he managed his troops pretty well, and he knew what kind of position he should and shouldn't get himself into. And so there's a couple of key advantages that I'm going to push in this battle. One of them you can see happening right now. I'll let you see this. My opponent brought cuirassiers. Very stupid. Heavy cavalry are good. But if he didn't bring any light dragoons to support these guys, this is why it was very stupid. Check this out. Boom! Just shot out like 20 men of his unit, 18 men, and I got away scot-free. Didn't lose a single light dragoon. That is why you do not bring nothing but heavy cav, because people always bring light dragoons in Empire Total War. In fact, I had my army all set with 4 winged hussars, and I was like, man, I really shouldn't bring 4 winged hussars because my opponent is quite likely to pull out light dragoons and slaughter me. Well, my opponent made the same mistake that I just about did, and so I'm going to make him pay for that mistake by harassing the living daylights out of him with my light dragoons. Here I just chased his lifeguard unit back because I was going to shoot them in the side with my light dragoons. So I'm going to constantly use my light dragoon advantage against my opponent to force him into a bad situation. Now, what my opponent should have done here was he should have realized that his infantry was far superior to mine. Now, again, my guards and my guard grenadiers can hold their own, but my opponent has 2 lifeguards, 2 superior line, and a regular Prussian line infantry, which all of which is superior to what I have. So he should have just probably used his rifles as a meat shield to try and disorganize my men and get his infantry into an attack. He needs to get into an attack. The problem that he has is that my light dragoons are going to be able to harass him and move about the field pretty much with impunity. And but I really think his best odds were to just flat out attack me. His only other option is to do what he's doing, which is trying to get me to make a mistake. He's going to play patiently, he's going to pull back and make me move forward, and he's going to hope that I make some kind of positioning mistake that he can take advantage of. But as you can see, I'm making sure to manage my light dragoons very well, and making sure to keep my horse units clear of his units here, which are guarding. And I'm slowly pushing up in the center, and I'm going to start mixing it up with his skirmishers. Basically, I just need to keep from making a mistake. I do want to be aggressive because I have an advantage over my opponent, but I don't want to get too aggressive to where I lose part of that advantage. So here you can see I started some skirmishing. I ripped up this unit of Prussian Jaegers pretty good and didn't take very many losses. And you can see here my light dragoons just looming on his flank. So basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to get his Prussian Jaegers to fire off their shots, and as soon as they do, I'm going to charge these light dragoons in and skirmish them. But I do have to be careful. If his Prussian Jaegers get shots off at my light dragoons, they're going to be very accurate and very deadly. So check this out. I've killed a good number of his skirmishers, and then here, while he's trying to retreat, this is exactly what I was talking about. I can simply pull up my light dragoons, take a quick shot, and then run away. There, I just killed 24 men in that unit with a light dragoon volley and made off with only 1 loss. So you have to use light dragoons very much to your advantage, and I'm just going to keep harassing the crap out of my opponent in this manner. Now, I did take some pretty severe losses to one of my rifle units in that last exchange, but because of my light dragoons, I have a distinct advantage here. I didn't really make a whole lot of mistakes in this battle, but one mistake that I did make, one of them was right here. I came up and I told my unit to shoot these cuirassiers, and I forgot to put them on skirmish. So they didn't skirmish away. I did take a few losses, but nothing too bad. I only lost 9 men, and this cuirassier unit has lost, I think, 38. So it's still in my favor, but I did make a small micro mistake there. Back on the other flank, it's just constantly back and forth between my opponent and I. Eventually, I am not going to leave this and fast forward all the time. I just have it for now because I kind of want you all to see what was taking place, but still have me get this battle in a reasonable time frame. So here you can see me using that same strategy. I'm running my light dragoons forward. I'm just going to shoot the crap out of these guys. They start to rout. I get a couple of melee kills, and then I'm just going to get out of there. I did take about 20 losses that time, but I also caused a significant number of losses to my opponent's troops. He's now lost 30 skirmishers from every unit, and then more than that from his other. So I have a distinct skirmishing advantage over my opponent at this point. Now, another thing that I did here, I actually got a little bit ahead of myself. I should have continued with my tactics, but I thought, he can't catch these light dragoons, I'll just come back here. And then I realized I was up at the edge of the map, and very much realized he was going to catch these light dragoons. So my only option was to tell them to run off. So I had them shoot these cuirassiers to kill as many of them as I could get. I got about 18 of them. And now I'm just going to tell these guys to run like the wind, get out of there, go, go, go. They're probably going to get routed, but at this point I just want to cause as much damage as I can. But you can see those cuirassiers got shaken just from the number of losses that they took from being shot by my light dragoons. And now I'm just going to charge into the backs of his skirmishers and try and cause as many losses to them as I can before my light dragoons rout. Now, light dragoons aren't all that good to melee. You can see I did toss a couple of his Prussian Jaegers. And so I do get a few kills, but that was really a hasty move by me. Not real intelligent. The payoff was not all that good. I lost that entire unit of light dragoons, and I only managed to kill, probably, I want to say about 20 cuirassiers, and probably a few skirmishers, nothing too much. I do still have one unit of light dragoons, though, and I'm going to have to use them intelligently. So the battle is going to go back. Like I said, my opponent's being very patient. If I were him, I would have been aggressive because of the qualitative advantage of his infantry, but he chose to be patient and try and wait for me to continue to make mistakes. That was probably one of the only major mistakes that I made in this battle, though. Every other time I seemed to do pretty well at taking advantage of my opponent. Sorry, I'm trying to get my cat. He's crawling up all over me like usual. Achilles likes to get involved in my games, I guess. So here's another point where my opponent's trying to get me in a mistake. He does manage to kill a few of my light dragoons, but I did cause some pretty major damage to his Prussian Jaegers. And there my light dragoons very nearly rout, but I do manage to run them away. And now that my opponent, he's disorganized, I have my winged hussars charging in. This is a risky move. Definitely a risky move. One of my units of riflemen got routed, by the way. So I've kind of committed my cavalry over here, and I'm ready to commit to this engagement. And I'm going to show you my overall strategy. Right now, it looks like I'm just charging in cavalry, so my opponent thinks that I'm just kind of making some piecemeal maneuvers. But you also notice I use this opportunity to attack my opponent's line infantry with my rifles, my remaining rifles. Here I charge my winged hussars into this unit of cuirassiers. And the charge is going to be pretty devastating for my winged hussars. But he does have some rifles firing into my my hussars as well, which is a good move by him. So my winged hussars do start to take a lot of losses, and they do waver a little bit. But I'm able to bring them help with my remaining light dragoons, and check this out. I lost my general, which sucks. That's not what I was telling you to check out. But my general died. He was in that unit of winged hussars. But for once, my general actually gave up his life along with my men. But now I'm just going to cause some major disruption. I've got my winged hussars and my light dragoons here. My opponent committed this unit of line infantry into melee, which was very, very stupid. He should have had them stand back and shoot at me. And I'm going to make him pay for that mistake. Any time that your opponent gets disorganized, you have to take advantage of it, and you have to take advantage of it immediately. So you see, the first thing I did was I fired this unit of rifles right into that mess of men and killed a whole bunch of his horse units and his infantry. And then you can also see me moving up my guard grenadiers and my guards in the background. These guys mean business. And so I'm going to come up here and I'm going to rout these Prussian units out and rout them quickly with my superior units and firepower. So check it out, here they are. There's my guard grenadiers. They are not on fire at will, and I didn't realize it, so I guess that was another mistake that I made in this battle. My opponent didn't force me into it, but I made the mistake nonetheless. He starts to pull back this unit of superior line, but I'm not going to let him get away from this engagement. I'm going to go ahead and push forward. Or actually, this is what I do. Look, he turns his back on me, and so because he turned his back on me, I'm going to turn these guards on this superior line unit over here. They're absolutely getting chewed alive by these rifles and my line infantry, and he immediately pulls them back, seeing the peril that they're in. They just took 60 losses, basically. And up here I'm using a strategy called collapsing flank. Now, a lot of people collapse their flanks, but they don't use it at the appropriate time. My opponent has 2 lifeguards pushing against just 2 of my regular line infantry, so this is a very appropriate time to collapse my flank, and this is just going to keep my opponent from being able to engage me at a critical moment. And then I'm going to move these winged hussars up the hill to be able to support my 2 units of line infantry there, who are very much outmatched. Alright, so at this point my opponent has only 1 unit of long-range units left, and there's only 42 of them. So I have a distinct skirmishing advantage, which I'm going to use to force my opponent forward. So I withdrew all my forces, and now my opponent and I are squared off again. I used a collapsing flank once again. That's a very handy thing to do whenever your opponent is going to have a positioning advantage. If you don't feel like fighting would be good, sometimes it's better to just simply collapse your flank. Alright, here I took a couple of pot shots with my rifles, but now I'm going to go ahead and face off against my opponent's infantry, which is coming up here. He's got 2 superior line, which are pretty depleted, and 1 unit of line infantry. Again, my guard grenadiers are not on fire at will. This is extremely stupid of me. Finally, I rectify it, and there they go. You can see that they fire like guards by platoon rather than by volley, and they are absolutely ripping up this unit of superior line. You can see they're pretty accurate. And the guard unit pretty much just continuously fires because they can reload quickly and they fire by like the platoon. So you'll notice that it just kind of works its way down the line and it starts again on the other side. See that? So it's kind of like a continuous stream of fire rather than volley fire. And check it out. These guards have gone all the way down to 70-something men. And he decides to charge me in melee, which charging guard grenadiers in melee is not a good idea because grenadiers are tough in melee and guard grenadiers are extremely tough in melee. So he can charge me all he wants. I will gladly accept this invitation into a melee fight. So bring it on, you Prussian scum. Now, grenadiers historically were usually picked from amongst the tallest and toughest men, so that would not have been of who you wanted to get into a melee fight with. And check it out, man, these Prussians take it. They absolutely get wailed on by my guard grenadiers. And then up here, my guards are engaged in a melee with a unit of superior line and a unit of line, and my guards are also extremely good in melee. This is not the kind of fight that my Prussian opponent wanted to pick. But then again, him standing back and getting shot to death wouldn't have been any good either. So if he wants a melee fight, Heir of Carthage is never opposed to a melee fight, so bring it on. I will give it to him. So check it out. Here's my men coming in melee, and I'm going to easily win the fight on this side of the battlefield. Let's go check out what's happening up on the hill. My opponent's lifeguard was trying to engage me, and I used my winged hussars once again to run distraction. I only lost 12 of them. And I caused, it looks like 44 losses to that unit of lifeguard, and 79 losses to this unit of lifeguard. So that 1 unit of winged hussars absolutely just devastated 2 extremely expensive units. Now, these lifeguards had just gotten into a melee with my regular line infantry, and even though they're badly outnumbered, they very well could win this fight. They have a height advantage, and they're statistically extremely superior. So you can see in there duking it out with my men. Very cool fight. I love the skins, and I love the animated action there. My winged hussars got routed by his lifeguard, which is bad. So now he's going to run the rest of his lifeguard in the melee, which again is kind of a stupid mistake. He should be using these guys to shoot, because all the while I'm just wrapping up his flank, and all I have to do is just reposition my men to shoot his lifeguards to death before they can attempt another melee charge. So I'm going to fast forward through most of the rest of this, just kind of show you what the end game looks like. My winged hussars came back from routing, and I immediately start charging them back down the hill. I was hoping my opponent would notice them so I could just get a full-on rear charge. It doesn't quite end up working that way. He did notice them, but I was looking forward to seeing some lifeguards get launched about 30 yards down the hill. So I hope you enjoyed these two Poland battles. My strategy in the first battle was based on the fact that I was outthinking my opponents. I knew that my opponents would be focusing heavily on artillery and melee troops since it was early period. People tend to do that a lot, so just be ready for those types of armies. And in the second battle against Prussia, I knew that my opponent was going to have superior infantry, just because Prussia's infantry is better, so that's why I brought a unit of guards and a unit of guard grenadiers. And I also brought my winged hussars in order to help ensure my cavalry supremacy. Heavy cavalry being supported by light dragoons is extremely effective. So that was my the two main focuses of my strategy in those two battles. Hope you enjoyed it. There's my opponent's name. A very good game to my opponent. He played quite well. In the end, he didn't have a whole lot of choice but to go ahead and just do his best against me. But like I said, good game to him. He controlled his troops well. I just happened to outmanage him on this particular game. So here's my statistics for some of my units. You can see how they did. Let's see here. Yeah, check out some of the kills. My rifleman right here had 115 kills, which is outstanding. My guards got 174 kills, and my guard grenadiers got 102. So very interesting games. Hope you enjoyed it as well. And I will be back on Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday with Shogun Total War. I am excited. A lot of new features. I'll be there to explain it to you, walk you through it, and also hear what your take on Shogun is. I'll give an official game review on my webcam and tell you what I think of the game. So hope to see you then. Look forward to it on Tuesday. Get ready for the Shogun Bash.